Welcome. I'm here on Facebook Live to share with you guys all about digestion. We have a lot to cover today, and I actually, because there is so much, I didn't know necessarily where to start. And I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm Dr. Alicia Armitstead. I'm a chiropractor who specializes in nutrition. I specialize also in muscle testing. And I'll talk about it more today, but ways to be very specific because helping support digestion and how to repair and rebuild it, there's just so many different things that can happen and so many different ways to go. And a lot of us know about probiotics. Hi, Linda. And if you're out there and you've taken a probiotic and it actually made you feel worse, more bloated, I will explain to you today why. And the body is actually too toxic. It's not ready for the good bacteria to go into the system. There is a four-step process, and I know that sounds almost too simple. But it is a very detailed four-step process. But it's nice that we've narrowed it down to four steps at Healing Arts. And it's the last step, the fourth step actually, that's about adding in the probiotics. If you add it in too early, that's when you get the reaction. And so starting today with digestion, what do people think of? They just kind of think about the stomach and maybe the intestines, but I actually want you to think of it mouth all the way down as one large tube, and it all has to work together. So if you have bloating and you come into our office and we're working on mouth health, that could be the missing link of why the bloating isn't going away. And we really look at it holistically as one large tube. It can be up to 33 feet long. And we don't look at it in different sections, but to truly heal it, we look at it as a whole. Digestive symptoms, I mean, what can they be? Bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, but also more complex issues if you feel like you have food allergies or eczema, rashes, migraines, all can be digestive related. Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, weight gain for no reason can be digestion. Blood sugar issues, not only diabetes type 2, but also type 1. Hashimoto's can be digestive issues. I know it sounds crazy, but the goal is to get the inflammation off of the digestive tract so the body calms down, so the immune system doesn't react so intensely. Mood issues can be digestion, depression, anxiety, and so to go over, sit down and eat. We don't spend enough time actually sitting down and eating. And I've done it before. I've definitely eaten my lunches standing up, but part of the digestion is to maintain health. And if we're going to actually be healthy about it, we have to be healthy at the very point of actually eating. The goal is that the body breaks down the food for our nourishment and also to protect us. And we want the protection because you have to think about everything that gets absorbed into the body we might not want, all the different toxins that comes in. And we want the body to be healthy enough to decide what stays in and what goes out and make sure that what goes in really does get absorbed. And so when also you want to be careful when you eat that you're really chewing your food. So you're sitting down, you're actually relaxing, and you're chewing. Digestion starts in the mouth. We have enzymes in our saliva to help break it down. And with that extra chewing, takes stress off of the stomach. This food goes down into the stomach. We have to have enough stomach acid to actually break down the food. A lot of the times we do things that decreases our stomach acid, and it might relieve pressure in the chest or relieve some stomach pain, but we have to be careful we actually have enough stomach acid in order to break down the food, and that the pancreas has the support it needs in order to produce enzymes. So we need stomach acid and enzymes from the pancreas to actually break down the food. And then it moves from the stomach into the small intestine, where the small intestine decides what gets absorbed and what stays out. It needs But also in the stomach, it needs enough acid to actually, that's where pathogens can be killed, whether it's bacteria or virus or parasite you just swallowed. If the stomach is acidic enough, that's actually where that stuff will die. But in the small intestine is another opportunity for it not to get absorbed. Lower down, oh, throughout the whole body, I shouldn't say just lower down, throughout the whole body, mouth all the way down, you have different good bacteria, different microorganisms that are really helping support the body. And there's over 500 different species. And so if we are on a probiotic and eventually you realize it's not working as well, part of it could be because you need to change the probiotic that you're on. The body needs variety, and we have over 500 different microorganisms that make up our good gut flora, or our microbiome is another word that scientists are using. So for a healthy microbiome, we have 500 different species. We have about 100 trillion healthy bacteria. I know, I can't even wrap my head around how many that actually really is. But they help us break down our food, they help regulate hormones, they excrete our toxins for us, and they actually produce nutrients that we need. They're not just hanging out. If there's enough good gut flora, then the possibility of the bad flora coming in and being able to create a home is a lot less. So this good gut flora also keeps bad pathogens at bay. And so the large intestine is where water gets absorbed and it gets excreted out. And if the wall of the small intestine, it's like a major filter system, I guess is the way you should think about it. It can get abused if we consume too much processed foods, if we're too stressed, if there's too many toxins. Toxins can be anything in our daily life, and we think we eat well, we live a normal life, but I want you to think about the aluminum that's in our kitchen. That itself is enough to throw off our gut, to cause the small intestine lining to erode. Aluminum baking sheets, aluminum foil, the aluminum cans, the aluminum seltzers, LaCroix. Patients were drinking that, and I was like, oh my God, what are you guys doing? The aluminum in our deodorant, I mean, just aluminum. Plastic is another toxicity. There's so much actual toxicity. We have to be careful. We have another good video actually on our YouTube channel all about toxins in the kitchen. And so if any of that interests you, that's a really good place to go. But you have to think every time we put something in our mouth or on our skin or in our hair, is it toxic or not? Because we are absorbing it. And if that small intestinal wall actually erodes enough, it's called leaky gut. And the barrier's gone. Our armor that doesn't allow toxins in will now allow toxins and pathogens in, and this is what causes our food intolerances or our food sensitivities or our food allergies, whatever you want to call it. And then this is where inflammation spikes. Those toxins go through, our immune system starts attacking, and then it overattacks because there's just too many toxins, and that's why you get your autoimmune reactions. So any autoimmune reaction, I always start with healing the gut first. Leaky gut, unfortunately, is exactly what it sounds like. It's when the lining of the small intestine has holes in it enough where waste and toxins can spill out into the blood or into the lymph system and reach the vital organs. Signs specifically for leaky gut could actually be bloating, thyroid conditions, fatigue, joint pain, headaches, skin issues, rosacea, acne, eczema. I'm always looking at leaky gut, and weight gain for no reason. And if it goes on and on and on, it doesn't get repaired, but then that's when you get IBS. That's when you get arthritis. That's when depression and anxiety and headaches then turn into migraines. And fatigue then turns into chronic fatigue. And we have to be very careful of everything we put into our mouth. And if besides the leaky gut, you have issues with not being able to absorb all of the minerals and nutrients when you do put the good stuff in. So what do we do about it? Whether it's leaky gut or other digestive issues, hopefully it's not to leaky gut yet. 4 steps. You remove the foods and factors that damage the gut, like the aluminum or the plastic or the junk food. 2, you rebuild with the healing foods. Okay, what can I put into the system to get it to repair? And then what supplements help? And then the 4th one, probiotics. I don't even know. I already talked about the 4th step. I'm just too excited today. I had to go straight to the ending. But when we talk about these 4 steps, it sounds easy, but it's like, okay, well, what exactly do I remove? Do I remove everything and now I'm on a diet of air and water? Maybe I'll talk about that later, but sometimes not. That's not the issue. Oh, it's about rebuilding with healing foods. Everybody's actually very different, and that's one reason why I use the muscle testing in my office. Nutrition response testing or morphogenic field technique. It depends on what's going on with the patient. With those 2 muscle testing techniques, I can identify the 4 steps very specific to the body, because unfortunately healing the leaky gut or healing the gut in general doesn't look the same for everybody, but it is always in that order: remove, rebuild, repair, and rebalance. And so the goal in my office is get rid of toxins, and with the right nutrition, the body can heal. And so going through the kitchen and going through the bathroom, getting rid of all the plastic and aluminum that you can. Plastic water bottles, utensils, straws, cups, no saran wrap, no plastic Tupperware. I get the Pyrex with the glass with the rubber tops. That's the best. I just try not to have the food touch the rubber. When you buy a bag of peas, nothing you can do. If you have a water filter, a lot of them times they're the thick plastic like a Brita. There's nothing you can do. Just always do the best you can. Use parchment paper on top of the baking sheets, or use glass. I love my baking stones. Try not to eat anything from canned foods. And again, try to eat as little processed as possible. Really try not to do any white refined sugar or wheat or white flour. And I mean, white flour is wheat. It's just that they bleached it to make it white. Yes, they literally bleach it with chlorine. It's pretty disgusting. And then sugar just wreaks havoc on the digestive system. It's inflammatory. It feeds the bad yeast or candida or bacteria, whatever you have going on, so it damages the gut further. And the bad bacteria actually creates toxins. We call them exotoxins that damage the healthy cells of the gut even further. It's like a cycle that you just can't break until you stop feeding the bad bacteria. And the less alcohol, the better. That's inflammatory, puts stress on the liver, puts stress on the stomach. And so it's like, okay, what can I eat? If we just get rid of all that stuff. One of my rules is if your great grandmother couldn't eat it, you don't eat it. So even if it's gluten-free, but it's packaged, that's too much, too highly processed. What we can eat and what we can use, food to heal, rebuilds the gut, is a serving of fermented foods a day will really help rebuild and feed the good bacteria. And sometimes fermented foods are actually too much for the system. It's almost like it's too foreign. So I suggest a half a serving daily. You can start there. It needs to be daily. Consistency is key. Almost like a probiotic, consistency is key. You keep putting it in. And so probiotic foods, what actually has the good live cultures in it: yogurt, cheese, kombucha, kefir. There are dairy ones made with milk. There's non-dairy ones made with coconut. And fermented foods would be tempeh, sauerkraut, pickles, kimchi. And another healing, a pickle a day. Like that can be easy. You can add that in. It's not fermented, but one of my favorite superfoods is buckwheat. And despite its name, it's actually not wheat. It's a seed, it's gluten-free, it has protein, it has fiber, and all the different nutrients in it really helps with lowering cholesterol, lowers blood pressure, and improves digestion, really relieves constipation. and you can get it. It's almost like you can use it easily to replace oatmeal in the morning. You can use the flour. It's one of my staples. I use it in the flour for muffins. Buckwheat pancakes is one of my favorite things, but you can also put the little groats, we call them buckwheat groats, on top of salads and stews and soups. It's easy to add in. And so when you think of, okay, what can I eat to not feed the bad gut flora and to really rebuild my gut? You do want some good starchy carbs, but we have to be careful. So sweet potato would be okay. Plantains and cassava are really good too for digestion. They won't spike the blood sugar and they have the fiber so that the good bacteria really likes them. One of my other favorite things is apple cider vinegar. And apple cider vinegar is really good actually on an empty stomach. It helps kill the bad gut flora and it helps enhance digestion because it delays the stomach from emptying. So the longer this food can stay in the stomach, the longer it's like the stomach is working and working, so it's more digested before it hits the small intestine, which helps the small intestine do its job. And apple cider vinegar also enhances digestion by increasing the acid that the stomach can produce. And I know vinegar sounds acidic, but it shouldn't be that way. If you have acid reflux, you have to be a little careful. Everyone that drinks apple cider vinegar should be diluted unless it's on a salad. And it shouldn't feel more acidic in the body. It should actually help heal the body. I know it sounds weird, but it's actually anti-inflammatory at the same time helping stimulate the stomach to produce more acid if needed. It's almost like the body is just so amazing and knows what to do with that apple cider vinegar, because I've used apple cider vinegar to help ulcers and other inflammatory issues with the gut, including both constipation and diarrhea. Apple cider vinegar is just amazing like that. And bitters is a whole nother group of food that is really good at promoting digestive juices for the stomach and improve digestion and really helps with absorption. And you can buy bitters actually as a supplement, but food that you might want to eat more of that has the natural bitters in it is, well, if you have the bitters tonic, drink it before you eat. And actually, you could eat these foods first before eating your carbs or your protein. That's how bitters works. Broccoli, cabbage, arugula. So have a salad beforehand, or radishes. Those are bitter foods that really help. And so what's really nice is collagen powders are out there on the shelves. Make sure you get an organic one from grass-fed beef. That's the one I like the most, personally. Collagen is the gut's connective tissue and can help support and strengthen the small intestine lining that we want so strong to help support and heal leaky gut. Collagen protein powders, you can put it in a shake. It's easy to use, or you can drink bone broth, and that's out there in the market. So this stuff wasn't even an option 5 years ago. It's really great that these good quality collagen powders and bone broth is out there. And so bone broth has the collagen in it, and you can use it in like making rice instead of water or quinoa. You can put it in a soup, or you can, just drink it almost like a tea. That's the way that I really enjoy it. And so I I tease you guys about the air and water diet, but I want to talk today about how fasting can help repair the gut. Giving the digestive system a break allows it to rest and spend time healing instead of working. And I know fasting is kind of a confusing term because you Google it and there's so many people that love it, and there's so many people who say it's not good for the body, and there's so many different ways to fast. It can be really confusing. Intermittent fasting is very common, and I do like it. It's where you only eat for 8 hours of the day. It's also known as the 16-8 way of fasting, and it depends on the person, but I usually suggest eating window between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. It means you finish eating dinner at 7, so 6:30 is dinner time. You don't eat for those 16 hours, giving the body rest. But you could also fast for 20 hours or even 24 hours. One full day, 24 hours of fasting, I have seen wonderful results in the office. Lose weight, lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure. It's almost like every Monday is fasting day, or pick whatever day of the week you want. But I have people do that a lot too. Just one day a week really can keep the body in a healthy cycle. It works because you're not digesting your food. The body takes that energy and uses it with autophagy. It's a scientific word, but it really means your body takes time to not digest. Instead, it recycles and ditches the junk inside the body. The body, like, oh, I'm not digesting. Okay, I'll use this time and clean up. And that really allows the body to detox, heal the gut. It helps regulate hormones, improves blood sugar. That's why all of a sudden people get a lot healthier. You need to give the body a break. So obviously 24 hours is really daunting. So just start with intermittent fasting. Only eat from 11 to 7 and see how that goes first. And fasting isn't for everybody. It's definitely not for pregnant or nursing women, and it's not for if you think you have a blood sugar issue or if you're on insulin. It's not for you. It would mess up the blood sugar too much. And but it's almost like if you do choose to do the 24-hour fast, it's almost like mind over body. It's like you make up your mind and then you'll do it. And water is like your best friend on any fast, but especially for the 1 day fast. And a lot of times, just in our daily life too, we think we're hungry, but we're not. We're actually thirsty. So just the more water you drink, the better. It curbs the appetite, and it can, quit that nagging hunger that you might get while you're fasting for the 24 hours. Um, so supplements that I like also, step 3, to really heal the body, I really think vitamin A is important. It actually supports the cells that line the intestinal tract. So make sure you have enough vitamin A, or just make sure you're eating a lot of orange and red colored vegetables like orange and red peppers, sweet potatoes, carrots. Another supplement I really like is aloe. We use the medical grade liquid aloe in the office. It decreases inflammation. It's really soothing. You know how like when you get a sunburn and aloe is really soothing to the sunburn? You have to think about the gut lining, that skin, its skin. And it's inflamed, it's red, it's irritated, and the aloe comes and soothes it. And it allows a covering so that it can actually heal. Glutathione is really good. It's a huge antioxidant, and this antioxidants help decrease the damage at the cellular level, reducing inflammation. Vitamin C, vitamin E are also good antioxidants. When thinking about detoxing and everything and really repairing the wall, you have to think about this skin, allowing certain nutrients in, making sure toxins don't get absorbed. That wall also has an immune system built into it called gut associated lymphatic tissue, GALT. Gut associated lymphatic tissue is sitting there on the lining of the wall as well. It is the largest collection of lymph vessels in the body, and it includes your appendix too. And nobody know, like everyone thinks their appendix is worthless and it doesn't mean anything, but it's like an immune system organ. It's kind of like your tonsils. or the lymph nodes here, or the tonsils in the back of your throat, they're an immune organ. They're there to help you fight pathogens coming in. And we need also our gut lining to have a strong immune system. And of course, we still need a strong immune system, even though we're in the process of opening up right now. I'm still on top of it. Everyone's got to have a strong immune system. And part of healing the gut will do that for you. And so you need to know if there's too many toxins coming in uh, from your food or the chemicals or anything, that the gut becomes congested, the lymph flow becomes stagnant, and then that lowers the immunity. Detox becomes less, and then that's when you get a lot of digestive symptoms. So I need you to look at it that way as well. And then other things you can do to repair the gut, lifestyle changes, deep breathing. Digestion is a parasympathetic process. Parasympathetic is a big word, but you have your nervous system, and you have the sympathetic part and you have the parasympathetic part. And sympathetic is our fight or flight and our anxiety and our go, 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 do, do, do. And parasympathetic is the opposite, and that's where we digest. That's why relaxing and really taking the time to sit and eat is so important for a good digestion. And so to get our body in parasympathetic, that's breathing can help with that. So deep breathing and digestion are both parasympathetic. So you can just easily take 3 deep breaths, allow the body to relax as you're sitting down to eating. And prayer, blessing the food, I think can really help you get more relaxed. So if that's something, prayer that is something that you do, make sure you do it right before you eat as part of relaxing and going into that parasympathetic mode. And then staying hydrated, not just for fasting, but in general, does help move the nutrients. And drinking enough water helps with constipation. You're constipated because it's hard, and you need the water to hydrate. Baking soda is also really helpful for constipation or even a tummy ache. We reach for ginger ale and I cringe because I think of the can or the plastic and I think of the sugar. I'm like, no, you want baking soda. I know it doesn't taste as good, but baking soda really helps for constipation or the tummy aches. The bicarbonate actually encourages air to come out one way or the other. And so then that pressure release is what relieves the pain and re-alkalizes the body, neutralizing acid. It's easy. You just do 1 teaspoon of baking soda with 1/4 a cup of warm water. Or it could be more water if you wanted to dilute it more. And so somebody just asked about infused water. Drinking water in general, can it be infused like with fruit, or go ahead and type a little bit more. Let me know exactly what you mean by infused. And so baking soda, I was just talking about constipation. And so thinking about hydrating with the water, you're clogged up with constipation because you're too dry, but also maybe you need oil. Oil's a lubricant for everything. And so I love olive oil. It's healthy, it tastes good, it relieves constipation, and it stimulates digestion, gets things moving. Just make sure that you have it in your diet. If you don't, you can always just pop a tablespoon in your mouth after dinner because it can help detox the liver as well. And so you can hear me over and over again say, with, get rid of toxins, and with the right nutrition, the body can heal. Yes, you can put a bay leaf in water. That would be easy and really medicinal for the body for sure. And so this 4th step is, once we're done removing toxins, repairing and rebuilding, now we rebalance, put the good gut flora in. And again, you can eat the yogurt or the kefir, and we have to find the right probiotic for you. And sometimes we just need to switch it up. you can't just keep doing the same probiotics over and over again. And we have to kind of rotate. I have probably 10 different probiotics in the office, and it's so important to figure out exactly which one you need. And so sometimes if you feel like you're doing good and then 3 months down the road you don't feel well, you might just be time to switch up the probiotic if you can't get muscle tested. And I think that's it, guys. Let me just see if there's any more questions. Yes, infusing water is absolutely great. She got back to me. She asked about bay leaf, ginger, or turmeric infused water. Yep, perfect. All that stuff would be really medicinal. And yeah, you just wouldn't want to add any weird things like food dye or sugars or anything that could spike the sugar. But bay leaf, ginger, and turmeric, all different types of herbs, would be absolutely fine. Ginger is really good for the stomach. If I have a stomach ache, I actually go for ginger tea or peppermint tea. Both of those things can be really good. Okay, I know that was a lot of information, but it was good to see you guys. Take care. Next week at the same time, I will be meditating. I'm really excited. I've never done that live, so please join me. If you're a newbie, great. I'll go through the steps. If you're, something that you constantly do, great. I'd love to do it with you. The more, the merrier. And I'll see you then. Take care.